Okay, Councilmember Trace.
Thank you. I received the letter from Commissioner Grieb, but I guess there was a public meeting about Kissimmee Park Road and some changes that the Turnpike Enterprise wants to make to kind of the access for essentially Kissimmee Park Road residents. I just wanted to know if we would be willing to put in a letter to the DOT as well for that kind of in suggestion for changes to how that access is happening. I don't know if you guys saw that public meeting that was going on about that.
I don't know exactly what the letter said, so I'm
I haven't either. I don't.
sure.
I just.
I mean, I'm open to it. I
Yeah.
just don't know exactly what we're asking for.
Yeah.
City Manager?
Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Can I have the fire chief address that? And it does affect the fire station in response. So we started receiving the public comment. We did compile those and forward those on to the Turnpike Authority for their, to understand the consternation that some of our citizens had. So I took the position that, it's a Turnpike issue and that, we were listening to our citizens. We just forwarded that on, but it does affect fire response. I'll have the fire chief talk about that.
Good evening, Jason Miller, Fire Chief. Going back in time, the history of that area, obviously, we've run into many experienced problems with traffic offloading off the Turnpike, traffic stacking back onto the Turnpike at the Kissimmee Park Road interchange, as you know. We've been quite a few accidents over there, lots of near misses, just lots of frustrated drivers. Turnpike DOT approached us probably about 9-10 months ago about this idea of making both lanes coming over the bridge from Kissimmee Park Road towards Old Canoe Creek as turn-only lanes so they could get more traffic off the Turnpike, less stacking on the Turnpike, less chances of rear-end accidents on the Turnpike. As a result of that, they said they were closing northbound entry from Kissimmee Park to allow for that stacking to go all the way back across the bridge. The original intent of Turnpike DOT, sorry, the old FHP all the time out there, DOT was to create this bulbed U-turn in the middle of the curve there as it approaches the Turnpike. Knowing that we had a future fire station coming along in that area as far as being a rebuild, knowing that we had to move the driveway further south, we said, we have an intersection 250 feet down the road. Why don't you make the intersection wider? You can do your bulb out turnout south of our fire station. Doesn't affect our operations as far as being able to respond to calls. In the future, when you go to restore the intersection, you restore it to a driveway. That way it saves us a little money, and you leave the traffic light in place so that we can get out in non-emergency situations. They agreed to all that. Our opinion is it's safer to do a controlled U-turn, not in the middle of a curve. Realistically, it doesn't affect our traffic as far as response. The people it does affect are the residents of Kissimmee Park Road. They're going to have to come down, go over the overpass, do a U-turn there by the fire station, and then get back on head back south to get on the Turnpike to head north. With that said, they traffic engineered that bulbed out U-turn large enough that a semi could do a U-turn there, according to DOT. I know our fire trucks won't have a problem making a U-turn based off of the radius of the curves. And in the future, that does allow us to have a turn lane to access future Fire Station 32 from where it's at now. My stance as far as the access location is we don't have an issue with it. It truly, at this point, does not appear to that it will have any effect on our response times. I know that there's been an email that's gone around that says, it's going to affect our response times, but based on the fact that it's on a straightaway as opposed to in a curve, line of sight, which a lot of the engineers up there can know, makes it a whole lot better not to have it in the middle of a curve, number one. Number two, they've also taken into account, with our fire station being there when they do restore it, line of sight of the height of fire trucks versus residential cars, and they're taking all that into consideration. So from our standpoint, I have no objections to this. I feel it's a safer avenue. I'm not a big fan of, causing the impact to the residents of Kissimmee Park Road, but at the same time, when I weigh that, those are also the residents that are going to be sitting on the Turnpike, potentially getting rear-ended by semis or other cars, waiting to get off the Turnpike. So it's a double-edged sword. It's safer because you'll be able to get more cars off the Turnpike, but you're inconveniencing some people for now until that Neptune Road or Nolte Road interchange is complete. So I know I made it clear as mud and didn't really take a side, but it doesn't affect me at the end of the day. As far as I feel it's going to be safer, it could reduce call volume in that area because we do run those calls on the turnpike where people get in accidents out there, so.
Well, my thought process is, when that overpass was reconstructed with Kissimmee Park Road and all that, the infrastructure and the head walls for a 4-lane overpass is there. Why don't they just build the bridge deck for those extra lanes and then just kind of finish that part of it?
It's outside my purview.
Yeah, so.
I'm the St. Cloud Fire Chief, not
Seems like
FDOT.
the easiest solution was sought and found instead of kind of what makes sense.
Well,
holistically.
also, there are plans long-term to close that, because remember, they're gonna realign all of Kissimmee Park Road as part of the Edgewater development out there. Kissimmee Park Road, the access point to the turnpike is not gonna be on Kissimmee Park Road in the future. Where Kissimmee Park Road is now, I should say.
Understood, but that bridge is still going to be there.
Yes,
Yeah.
so.
Just wanted to have that perspective. So.
Yeah, understood.
Okay. So where do we go from here?
I don't want to put words in Mr. Trace. I think he's requesting that we support Commissioner Grieb's letter and ask for them to look at this again, and can they come up with a better design? Is that?
Agreed.
Okay.
And have staff look at it too, because I mean, if it was just
Sure.
a conversation about
Yeah.
fire and how that makes sense instead of, Public Works looking at it, or I just want to take another look at that project and make sure it makes sense for everyone.
Yeah, I'm up for
You good with
a
that?
second look.
All right.